Hello everyone! Today I decided to make a video that would be a little different in comparison to those I've been making earlier, because I've been getting suggestions from you guys on what kind of video to create, and lots of you voted for the history of Speakerman's race evolution. And I thought about it and realized that I've never made a proper video on Speakerman as a race indeed, instead of cameramen, for example. So today, I will tell you the whole story of Speakerman, how and when they appeared in this series and what crazy transformation they went through. And I also prepared some really unique information for you guys about the mysterious Speakerman character that's about to appear in the future episodes of Skibidi series really soon, so prepare to watch this video to the end, not to miss the most interesting part of it. Now get your tea and snacks ready and let's go. So the very first representatives of Speakerman's race that we saw appeared in episode 24 of Skibidi series, and that's also the episode where the gray-suited Speakerman and the dark Speakerman debuted in, and both of them were destined to become the most iconic Speakerman of the whole show later. By the way, I have a special video dedicated to these characters and their storylines, specifically. So if you want to know more about them, then you can watch that video after you'll finish this one. So I'm not going to dive deep into them right now in too much detail. The emergence of Speakerman became the first step for the formation of the alliance we know now consists of 3 races and their representative titans, but I'll talk about it a little later. And for now they served as the reinforcement power for cameramen, as Speakerman brought not only a really cool soundtrack with them, but also plenty of new technologies, weapons, and resources. And besides that, we saw Big Speakerman in pair with the regular Speakerman at the same time in episode 24. Speakerman also seemed to be really light-hearted in their nature, and we'll see this quality in another iconic character from their race that's about to come to the series later. They even managed to share their goofy spirits with cameramen in episode 29 until the party was over. But before we'll talk about all that, don't forget to give this video a like, because I appreciate it a lot, and subscribe to my channel as I really want to achieve my goal in having 500,000 subscribers by the end of the next month. Okay, if you subscribe now, let's move on. Titan's Speakerman didn't take too much time to arrive as well, which happened just 2 episodes after their first appearance, namely in episode 26. And he looked to be the perfect embodiment of the General Speakerman's spirit. I mean, just look what kind of attitude he showed towards this defeated, masked Skibidi toilet. Or rather, defecated in that sense, I must say. At this point, Titan Speakerman is the only distinctive Speakerman character in the earlier stage of the show, but spoiler alert, this situation was to change pretty soon. From episode 27, Speakermen were acting as the regular soldiers combined with cameraman that raided different crowds of Skibidi toilets and completed important missions. But everything changed after episode 32, when Titan Speakerman got infected by the parasite, and the Alliance had lost one of the most valuable proponents. And since then, the race of Speakermen seemed to have lost some of their humorous spark and brevity in battles during the period Titan Speakerman was under Skibidi scientists' control and had been fighting on their enemy's side. We still could see both regular and Big Speakerman soldiers here and there in different episodes, but as they got pretty much wrecked by their former infected ally in episode 33, it seemed like Speakermen lost their hope to win against the Skibidi army, and started behaving much more sneakily and cautiously, while cameramen moved to the foreground a lot. And it was also in this exact period of time when 2 really significant events for the Alliance happened. Firstly, the anti-parasite cannon had been invented and gradually developed by the team of cameramen scientists that also helped to cure lots of infected Speakermen in the course of the first half of the series. And secondly, another powerful race joined the Alliance, namely TV men that filled the blank space for Speakermen at the time. And it also didn't take way too long for Titan TV Man to show up, which compensated the Alliance losing Titan Speakerman to their enemy's side. It's also interesting to point out how none of the Speakermen joined the special armed operation for freeing the infected Titan Speakerman of his parasite, and there were only regular and big cameramen combined with TV men who participated in that mission that lasted from episode 53 to episode 57. And only in episode 59 when Titan Speakerman got finally freed of his curse, and as he showed who's the best big boy in town to all of the Skibidi that were foolish enough to cross his path, we saw the appearance of Speakerman's race again. So before episode 61, the regular Speakerman was varying only by their suit colors, but there weren't any unique or elite versions of them or any memorable Speakerman characters, aside from Titan Speakerman, in contrast to cameramen that had plenty of unique characters since the very start of Skibidi series. But everything changed in episode 61 when no other than my beloved one and only Speakerwoman appeared and brought so much joy and goofiness with her, the qualities I missed not seeing anymore in Speakerman a lot. And with that, she also delivered one of the most powerhouse abilities that put her on second place in terms of strength after Titan Speakerman. And I want to add that I spoke a lot of her character in detail in this video, so I'm not going to cover everything she put on the table in all the episodes she was featured in. But let me just say this girl was, and still is, simply spectacular. She's a buddy, but also with great taste in music and sense of humor, and most importantly, she's my girl. Only so beware whoever tries to flirt with her, or worse. Speakerwoman incorporates the most important ability of Speakerman's race, which is a melee fighting style with the usage of special knives. We saw other Speakermen using knives somewhere before episode 61, such as in episodes 37 and 47. By the way, Speakermen are also capable of using short-range, powerful sound waves with their speakers in order to stun their opponents and finish them off with their fists or knives later. And then we saw another iconic character from that race, and of course this is the Dark Speakerman who gave us his legendary comeback in episode 63. It's interesting how he's larger in size than both the ordinary Speakerman and cameraman, which hints to him being elite agent and a true gigachad he is. He has two powerful knives that allow him to engage in a fierce melee combat, and a jetpack on his back that made him able to fly in the air and jump on his opponents while striking them heavily with his knives. He also wears protective earphones, which gives us a hint already that he's an elite agent who's meant to fight with the more powerful Skibidi that might be upgraded with the devices which are capable or releasing sound waves just as Speakermen do. Also, by episode 66, almost all the Speakermen can be seen wearing protective earphones at this point. But aside from that, we still haven't seen them being majorly upgraded in terms of equipment or weapons, in contrast to cameramen who have been constantly given new rifles or pieces of body armor such as jetpacks. But in Speakerman's case, it looks like only the Black Speakerman and Speakerwoman have been stood out in terms of fighting abilities and general appearance. And that's because Speakermen seem to be more of an assistive race, whose major role is to support either cameramen or TV men in the first positions of battles, and of course to lighten up their mood with silly dances and funny little gimmicks. And that's why the Dark Speakerman was so interesting on his own, because he was so cold-blooded and serious, and never shown these primal characteristic traits as the majority of Speakermen have, including Speakerwoman. It's also interesting how none of the big Speakermen ever received any upgrades or were even given any weapons aside from their own speakers' waves and fists. And even in the fourth part of episode 67, the iconic big Speakerman Chad, who sacrificed his life in order to let Plungerman into the bunker, was seen without any additional improvements. And generally, the only Speakerman to receive some kind of unique weapon was this guy who entered the Skibidi bunker together with the infiltration squad at the end of episode 67, who has this funnily-looking bat, which is a reference to the character Negan from the show The Walking Dead. But honestly speaking, both of the Speakermen that got to this bunker were pretty dummies that didn't last long enough because they were too busy having a good time in the very inappropriate circumstances. And I believe this may be the primal reason for Speakermen as a race not to play the leading role in serious battles, because they seem to be much more careless or unprepared than cameramen are. Aside from the Dark Speakerman and Titan Speakerman, of course. And by the way, speaking of Titan Speakerman, it's funny enough how for the longest period of time, he was also the only Titan out of the trio not to receive any upgrades up to the second part of episode 69. And then, he also fueled up from Titan TV Man's core and got some really chaotic and mighty power. So it really seems like the pattern that Speakermen are least likely to receive any upgrades in this series, contrary to Monster Up's Skibidi Zombie universe, for example, where Speakermen literally got to become the most advanced races of all, so they have the best technologies, the most elaborated robotic suits and machinery. But this contrast seems to be blended up a little bit by episode 70, when literally everyone and their mother got to have any possible upgrades. So all the regular cameramen now wear the special equipment, including jetpacks, rifles or shotguns, and later plasmic miniguns, protective earphones and camera lenses. And Speakermen now also have similar armor, but only their limited weaponry seems to remain the same. But the number of Speakermen getting involved in battles is still lesser than of cameramen. And it seems like only Speakerwoman with her katanas remains the one highlight here, considering that the Black Speakerman is gone. Or isn't he? In any case, we already saw the guy who might actually replace him in the second secret scene added by Boom in the compilation of all episodes of Season 23. It is this exact guy who helps Lucky Cameraman to get on his feet, replicating the iconic scene with the gray-suited Speakerman from episode 24. And this guy seems to be buffed as heck, and he also got the unique knife which looks like the mini version of Titan Speakerman's giant knife that can be seen right here hanging above. So who knows, maybe this guy will make the Speakerman's race great again and will show us some iconic melee moves later in the future episodes. And I'm also expecting to see the glorious upgraded Speaker Strider come back, as it already happened to Camera Strider in the first part of episode 72, because we really haven't seen any of the special Speakerman's tech in a while. And that was all for today. I'll be looking forward to the next episode to see what's going to happen. Be sure to write in the comments what you guys think new kinds of upgrade Speakermen will get, and what's coming for the second part of episode 72. And I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, hit the like and subscribe button. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!